How you doing? My name is Ali Nazem. I'm Vice President at ShoCard. ShoCard is a full end-to-end digital identity platform that's built on top of the mobile device, that's built on top of the blockchain. It's an app that a user can download to store and share their identity with various entities to do transactions, access services, log into a website without username or password. And when we do this for both cyber access as well as physical access, we work with security companies to do access control into a building, IoT devices, medical devices within, for doctors and clinicians. And it's really based on two key principles, and that's security and privacy. So from a security standpoint, we don't house a central database that could be hacked or breached. We utilize the blockchain for validation purposes only. We never put anything on the blockchain that could be reverse engineered or brute force discovered. And from a privacy standpoint, all the personal information remains on the device. It's encrypted and protected by the private key. Sorry. So quick background on the company. The company's been around for over 3 years, and in the blockchain identity standpoint space, that kind of makes us a little bit long on the tooth. The company was founded by Armin Ebrahimi, who is a Silicon Valley veteran who's had experience with both startups as well as large enterprise companies. His relevant experience is really at his early days at Yahoo from 1998 to 2008. Where his relevant experience there was building out a very scalable system. Yahoo was doing over 20 billion ad impressions per day, and so he built a very scalable and robust platform there to be able to handle that. His other relevant experience was running the identity and fraud team, and so he's dealing with a lot of issues like phishing attacks, account takeovers, and really dealing with a lot of issues that have been harder to solve until more recent days. And that's the concept around ShoCard. He wanted to find something that, with new technologies such as mobile devices and the blockchain, to really be able to go and solve old challenges and do it in a more exponential way. Increasing security while not eroding the user experience to do the same thing. The company's, we've closed about $5.5 million in seed funding to date. We've got a team of 15, primarily engineers, and another 6 contractors. The product is currently in production, and it's available through an SDK for iOS, Android, and server-side applications. We also have a standalone enterprise solution, which I'll talk about a little bit more as well. And we have a robust patent portfolio of over 23 patents. So our vision is to really revolutionize identity across the workplace and consumer services with blockchain and mobility. Make it more secure, protect user privacy, and make it a very simple user interface, cross-vertical, cross-border, and across multiple touch points. We want to give power to the user to own their identity, because if you think about it now, your identity is owned by all your different various service providers, your employers, and what we want to do is invert that paradigm and give the user back the control. I'm going to talk quickly about our enterprise product called ShoBadge. And this is a product that is a bolt-on to existing single sign-on solutions like Okta, Microsoft Azure, OneLogin, Ping Identity, and the likes. It bolts on via SAML or OpenID Connect. And really what it helps try to do is address the problem that we've had, that security breaches are continuing to rise. We hear about them every day. And it's really based on the paradigm of a username and password. And this paradigm has been around for 40 years, and all we've done is put a Band-Aid on top of the username and password with two-factor SMS, with RSA cards, authentication devices, but really it's the same problem that we're dealing with. And ShoCard is addressing that in a very different way. What we've got with ShoCard's enterprise product is called ShoBadge, and that's authentication that doesn't suck. It provides much more security, up to 4 factors of authentication, including geofencing, facial verification, that identifies a real person and not just the device. And then one of the main things is that we don't have a central database that could be hacked or breached. It provides a much simpler experience. There's no usernames and passwords for the user. The IT department doesn't have to constantly have to manage employees who have been logged out or been breached. It's a simple multi-factor login for desktop applications as well as mobile applications. It's cloud-based, mobile-based, and app-based. Here's a quick snapshot of how it looks. You go into the office, you're trying to access your workplace applications, you're presented a QR code to scan, or you can press a button for push notification. You utilize your mobile device there to authenticate, and then you get access very seamlessly. Our next product is really our core product, and this is around our embedded solutions. And our customers really use this. These happen to be more financial institutions, airlines, banks, where they integrate our solution into an existing app or infrastructure through the SDK. So they have a trusted relationship with their customers. They don't want to send them to another app to be able, for authentication. They can simply use our SDK, utilize our libraries, sample code to integrate that functionality into their own existing infrastructure. So the solution is a type of federated ID system that's easy to use and easy to set up. Requires something you remember, like a PIN code, access control in the form of Touch ID or Face ID, which most smartphones have. We capture biometrics, and this is to identify a real person, not just a device. And we capture a government ID, could be a passport, driver's license, could be an employment card, veteran's card. And what we do is we load this up onto the ShoCard enabled app, and this is what we call a self-certification or a self-attestation that this is my data and this is who I claim to be. But that in itself isn't very powerful. I can't walk into a bank or to an airport and self-declare myself to be who I am and get access to to open up a bank account or get onto the plane. So very much like the physical world, where you present your credentials to a trusted authority, whether it's a government entity, whether it's a bank, airline, mobile carrier, very similar. They will review your credentials, your ID information. They'll look at you, compare the picture. If everything matches, then they let you proceed. But what we do is we go one step further and allow that entity to certify that data and give you that certification, and that certification sits on your mobile device. So you don't, and it encourages or enables reuse. So you don't have to keep presenting your credentials over and over again every time you want to access services, log into a website, do a transaction. And the more certifications that you have, the higher confidence you are who you say you are. Now, some of the use cases around that, first of all, actually, why the blockchain? And I think most of you sitting here understand the benefits of the blockchain and some of the advantages they can bring, like data integrity. You're not waiting for your partners to have to batch upload data. It allows disparate entities to be able to store and share data without having a central database. It also puts the user in control of their data and who they want to share it with, allowing you to just share certain parts of it. So the concept that I showed you on the last screen, where we capture the biometrics, we capture the government ID, that data is hashed, and what we do is we add a salt to that hash, and then using the private key of the device, we write that to the blockchain. That's that self-certification process that I described on the last slide. And that's put on there, that's the first step. Now that data is then presented to a trusted authority. In this case, it happens to be a bank. It could be any other trusted authority. That trusted authority will then verify and validate all the different data points on that given ID, your biometrics, and if everything matches, then they'll provide a certification. So you have a concept of a two-step certification process. You have your own self-declaration, and then you have a trusted authority that also verifies those credentials. Now when you have that, you can, within the bank's own ecosystem, if anytime they want to access an ATM, they want to make a transaction, they want to log into a website, they don't have to use a username or password, they don't have to present their ID information over and over again, so it makes it much more seamless. But outside the bank's own ecosystem, they could also share that data. You as a user could share that data with another bank. If you want to open up a bank account, they can you can simply provide a pointer to the blockchain where they have your certifications. And if the first bank, or actually the second bank, trusts the certifications from the first bank, they can allow you to open up a bank account, they can allow you to access their services, without ever having to access the First Bank's database. Now, that could be also for a credit reporting bureau, it could be a service provider, it could be a merchant. So whenever they want to access that data or verify that data, they don't have to access any proprietary database, and you can create this larger web of trust without having data being exposed. Thank you for your time. We are located down in Cupertino. We're about to start fundraising for our Series A. If you're interested in investing or becoming a customer or a partner, we'd love to talk to you. Thanks.